everyone, Darren Hunter here with, of course, Michael Sanz, or we're actually calling him Dr. Unbusy lately. Michael, you've had some issues around virtual assistants joining teams, but the team not engaging them. And I certainly believe that's a problem because they're out of mind, out of sight. Let's talk about that. What are some of the things you're seeing out there with VAs?
Yeah, and I think we raise this to kind of put the issue on the table so that anyone out there that's looking to get a VA, working with a VA, so that you can avoid what happens in a general scenario where, often we'll have a conversation with a business owner or department heads around outsourcing. And they love the idea, they love the concept, but what happens when you bring the VA into the team and you've already got an onshore team, right? Like, how do you transition that person to become part of the team? And so we see that you'll often find where you've got staff, more often it's junior staff that don't understand the reasons for having like a virtual assistant or someone to help with the day-to-day mundane repetitious tasks, but they don't quite fully grasp the need for it. And I guess as business owners, you're bringing in like a virtual assistant because you're trying to reduce your overhead so that you can have a profitable business and so that you can be focusing on income producing customer service, high value tasks. And so we see that a virtual assistant will come in, they'll join the team, but all of a sudden, after a few weeks, the excitement's worn off and the engagement drops off. And normally what you see is the office gets busy again. Like the office is busy. And we often talk, Darren, about you should be having daily video messages or, video calls with your VA. And if it can't be daily, maybe 3 times a week, which just helps set that engagement, sets that buy-in, and it lets the team member know you care, that you're not just someone in another country in a dark room in front of a lit screen. And, so we see that. And then what happens, the knock-on effect from that is if there's any issues, errors, mistakes, they're seen as a grave offense. We've spoken before, Darren, too, about if someone's in an office, like if you've got a staff member, they're in an office and they make a mistake, you kind of see them maybe asking someone for help. You see them maybe going on Google and doing some research. You see them going to the bathroom, going for lunch. You're more forgiving if they actually make a mistake because you say, I'll deal with you in the afternoon. I'll help you in the afternoon, or, you're more present. But as a VA working offshore, when they're doing tasks, if the office see a result of that task, it's deemed as final. And if there's no engagement with the VA, what you find is that they don't see the process, right? They don't see how the VA has gotten from starting point to end point. If the team aren't responsive or if they see it as a chore to engage with a virtual assistant, it all starts to break down. Right, so these are some issues that you might face when you're bringing on an offshore virtual assistant from another country.
So let's just start working on the solution. So this daily engagement, this video that we would have with them, let's talk about that. Is it morning or afternoon, and what sort of things would you discuss in there?
Yeah, generally, I think the mornings are the best time to check in. It just helps reset the day and the previous day of what's transpired, the tasks that were done, and then explaining what are the things that you need me to be focusing on today. Like we work on it off an ideal day, ideal week. But in reality, in property management, ideal days don't always go to plan. So it's more of like a rough guide of, what I should be doing if we're not really talking today. Having that meeting probably in the morning, it just sets expectations for the day. And at least the agency can say, hey, focus on lease renewals, focus on maintenance progression, focus on this. It's also a good opportunity for when the VA can actually talk to the client, to the office, and say, hey, this is where I'm stuck. Do you need any help? What do you need help with? And it just makes everyone aware. I also think, though, like if you're doing it properly, there needs to be consistent check-ins throughout the day. Now, they don't always need to be a video call, right? Throughout the day, it could be on Slack or Teams or WhatsApp, whatever the platform is that you're using. How's it going? Do you need anything from us? Are you stuck on anything right now? You can have kind of preset questions you would ask. And then end of the day. Now, we always send an end of day report, Darren, as you know, touching on everything that's been done and the things that you're going to be doing tomorrow. That's fine too. You don't want to flood everyone with communication. But But I see the big issue in these daily communications is a single point of failure. Let's say, Bev, Darren, as an example, who helps Dennis, you, myself, Mitch. Let's say Bev just spoke with you. You did the daily check-ins with her, and you were kind of our point of contact. If something went wrong, or if I didn't like how the I was dotted or the T was crossed, I'm going to say to you, Darren, I can't believe Bev didn't do this properly. Bev didn't do that properly. I don't hear from Bev. I don't hear from her. You talk to her. The engagement is broken. So really, there's got to be, daily or 3 times a week, consistent communication with everybody on the team. So, for example, yourself, Dennis, and myself, we should be meeting Bev and communicating with Bev consistently. So Bev knows what to expect from us individually and what we're expecting from her. But if Bev's just meeting with you on a daily or 3 times a week, there's no engagement, there's no communication, and I don't really care.
And we've got good engagement with Bev. I'm constantly talking to her on Google Chat. And aside from you talking about having those daily check-ins, talking about it as the second thing to do, for me, I formally meet with my team once a week and I go through tasks. So I manage them with written tasks I actually use the Google tasking system, really easy. And I set tasks. And the deal that I have with them, it's a very quick meeting once a week, but we go through any red tasks. That means anything that's overdue. But we don't look at anything else. Anything that's due today or due next week, we want nothing to do with. All right. We only look at red tasks and we just go through. And I've got ongoing things as well. They're going to be done every week, every 2 weeks, or every month. And I check on those as well. So it's all in the Google task system. So you've got to have an official tasking system that you can assign to them. And in those tasks, I have Loom videos. They love my stuff because they get a Loom video with me. It's very specific what they have to do. Very, very rarely do they ever have to ask a question to clarify on the task because my Loom videos are so specific. They can go back to that Loom video and it just works like tickety-boo. And we meet once a week and we just go through anything that's overdue. All right. And very rarely does that happen. And I outline my expectations with them. And it's that old saying, you inspect what you expect. And it works well. My team knows my expectations. They work to that. We have a chat. How you going? All of that. Michael, I think the third one as well, we've seen with some offices about keeping engagement with their VAs is actually having a monitor up with we've heard about teams that have a monitor up with a video that's going quite a while where you can see them, they can see you, just like they're working at a desk nearby.
Yeah, it's always interesting. We have some clients that say that they like having their team member on a Zoom for the whole shift, and I guess that's good because it does create a lot of kind of engagement in a fishbowl capacity. But it also means that there's a lot of pressure on that VA to kind of be present. There's a lot of pressure, like, oh, I have to go to the bathroom. What if I go to the bathroom? What if I want to eat my lunch at my desk? Is that acceptable? So I think there's definitely a time and a place to have a screen and to have shared time. And it could be hours of, hour of power, an hour in the morning, hour in the middle of the day, hour at the end of the day. And so that will 100% help improve engagement within the team. 100%. Now, you don't need to have your microphones on for that. You can, but it might become a bit of an annoyance when someone's on the microphone on the screen. But Darren, that would help solve a lot of the look, see, feel, touch.
Yeah, for sure. And the last thing you want is this VA who wants to work for you. They're very, very loyal. Michael, we know that they'll be with you for years and years and years and years and years if you look after them, but not including them in your team causes you problems, causes them problems because they want to belong. And
I do.
I remember being at the Team Spy Design Christmas party, and Sally's VA gives us a gift. Darren, can you please, because the postage between Philippines and Australia is really bad. So she's down. Can you, when you get back to Australia, can you post this to Sally? Yeah, no problem. That's fine. And there's this big, beautiful package with dried mango, commercially packaged, all of that stuff. It was such a beautiful sentiment. And as soon as I got back, straight to the post office, posted it to Sally. And, the Sally was so appreciative of it. But this is what happens when you have, Sally really looks after her virtual assistant, like a lot of the clients that we have with Teams by Design. And they are treated as a valued team member. It doesn't matter about the distance, they're still treated with respect. And the loyalty that you get and the longevity will outlast any Australian employee, hands down, if you look after them.
Yeah, it's amazing, but you need to engage. You need to reciprocate. You need to, open the doors of communication. And again, touching on before, the things to avoid are single point of contact when they're working on tasks for a cross section of the team. If they're working on tasks for certain people, they need to be engaging with those people daily, if not, 3 times a week, and especially on a video call. The other thing, Darren, that I've suggested to like our team is to those clients and people out there that aren't as forthcoming with communication, because some people don't like to communicate, is that the VA needs to start doing a Loom recording themselves of what they've got on, what they're doing, and then send that to each of the property managers and that they're working on, specifically the tasks there and where they need some help.
Yeah.
So yes, that might be a little bit one-sided communication, but if it helps spawn on further engagement between the onshore and offshore, then every little bit helps. The other thing too is if you're doing a staff lunch, it's Friday staff lunch, like let us know, or if you've got a VA, send them lunch at the same time. So you're having your staff lunch and they're doing lunch with you. It was Valentine's Day last week, Darren, and we sent everyone on the team's lunch. So everyone in their teams got to have lunch together, and that was our little Valentine's treat to everybody on the team. But they remember it, the small things, like it was, you're talking about like a $10 lunch goes a long way.
It does. It does. So, all right, Michael, how do people get in contact with you to have a chat? Now, of course, everyone, it doesn't matter. You haven't got a virtual assistant with Teams by Design. Michael's always happy to chat with you and give you tips and help. What's the best way to reach out to you, Michael?
Yep, unbusychat.com. Book straight into my diary, and we can have a chat on any topic around outsourcing that you want to go over.
And look, if you haven't got Michael's book, go to unbusyyourpropertymanagers.com. Goes through 30 different tasks that you can easily outsource, unbusy you, so you can focus a lot more on your phone calls and emails with clients. But goes through 30 tasks that you can assign to a virtual assistant. So go to unbusyyourpropertymanagers.com. The book is free. Just pay shipping. Everyone, we'll see you in the next podcast episode. Take care.
Thanks, Darren.